Good.
Do you get that trouble normally? People normally start off with you. It's just out of interest.
Because people hate the message. Yeah.
Really?
It has nothing to do with the volume.
Okay.
Yeah, because we.
I mean, I'm being sincere. It's not the case of what you're saying. I mean, whether I agree or disagree.
I'm not calling you a liar. Yeah. I'm just telling you that.
That's what you found.
Everybody tells us it's too loud.
Okay.
But if there's another musician nearby, and he's louder than we are, no one's going by him and saying, "Hail Satan." No one's going by him and telling us to F off.
Absolutely.
No one's going by him and saying God doesn't exist.
Well, I find that surprising that people are so hostile towards it.
Oh, well, I mean, the Bible makes that clear. Jesus said, if people hate you, know that they hated me first.
Okay.
Yeah, the vast majority of the world. Yeah, we're not trying to cause you trouble. I mean,
we're not trying to. I know.
But we do get danced around all over the various boroughs and communities, and we comply as much as we can. But at some point,
you're obviously very polite about it. That's very good of you. I mean, I'm not doing it because of the message. I'm doing it because of the message.
And when we say go ahead and get to counsel, we understand that they are ultimately the authority. And we're going to do what they say. What we're doing is not a protest.
No, it's not a protest. It's a decibels. That's all. I mean, if you had it without the app, it's fine. I'm not joking. We've called council so many people.
Oh, I understand.
Anyone with an app.
Again, I don't doubt you're telling me the truth.
Are you guys from London or are you guys from the States?
A few of us are from London, but several of us are from the States.
I've never seen you guys do this before, so I've never seen anyone do this before.
Well, we come out every couple.
Aren't very noticeable.
What's that?
New Earth creationists aren't very noticeable. Not at all.
Well, it shouldn't be the case, but it is. Yeah, I agree with you. I agree with you. What's your name, by the way?
My name's Gideon.
Gideon Tony.
Old Testament.
Very good name.
I know
my name's Tony.
Tony, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too.
Yeah. No, I've read a lot of the Old Testament. I've read the New Testament, so I'm actually a bit of a buff on that kind of stuff. I don't agree with your stance whatsoever. I find it completely and utterly unfortunate.
On what basis?
On the basis of, you would call it a worldview.
Yes.
Yes, you would call it a worldview. I wouldn't say it's a worldview at all. I would say you've got to work from the ground up. I think that's where does the ground begin? Where does the ground begin?
Yeah.
The ground begins with tangible physical evidence that you can establish, and you work out from that upwards. You don't work out from, okay, I've got what you believe to be the Word of God. May not be the case, and this is what the Word of God, this is infallible, this is true, and what fits this. That for me would never work as a way of determining any truth whatsoever, ever.
According to your worldview, how do you determine truth?
I determine truth based on tangible evidence working its way up. So for example, if you have, let's use the fossil record, just as a prime example, you have a fossil record spanning back all over the planet. And I know
there's not a single transitional form among
there is a transitional form, of course there are. Well, if you want to...
There should, Gideon, if we're really transitioning, there should be billions in the fossil record.
But there's hundreds of thousands, all categorically found in order.
Gideon, you and I look at the same evidence.
Yes.
Right? You look...
No, I understand apologetics
you look at a fossil.
Yes.
And you say, billions of years. Yeah. I look at a fossil, and I see global worldwide flood.
Well, it's just not possible.
Based on what?
Based on where did the water go, based on how on earth did the world rip itself apart. Do you understand?
The world didn't rip itself apart.
Well, there's no way for the continent to spread within that small amount of time.
But you don't know that.
We do know that. We do know that. We know that from many different forms of things.
Gideon, they did carbon-14 testing on Mount St. Helens.
Radiometric dating in C14, loss of carbon, is debatable whether it's exactly correct. But we're talking about millions of years out. We're not talking about billions of years out. But also the problem is, seismology, simple geology will show us that basically, you know how earthquakes are created. Do you understand that if the movement of a one land base, it's a quick question for you. Apologetics, do you believe there was one solid land base and then that changed to a flood, or do you believe the earth was shaking?
No, that's not apologetics.
No. Okay.
Apologetics begins with the worldview. Apologetics begins with presuppositions. Your presupposition is there is no God.
I understand.
And
I don't believe that at all. No.
Oh, I'm sorry. What is your presupposition?
I'm agnostic.
Okay. My presupposition is you're not agnostic.
Okay.
My presupposition is that you know God exists the same way I do. You simply suppress that truth by your unrighteousness. That's where I begin.
Yeah, I begin with saying that's very patronising.
Well, no, because I'm not. It's not an intellectual insult.
No,
it's a moral argument.
Well, it's not
a moral argument.
No, it's not.
Because the Word of God says the fool has said in his heart there is no God.
I understand that, but
that's not an intellectual.
To me, won't go very far, unfortunately. But what?
Okay, then I want you to set aside all your science books then, so that we could have this conversation.
Okay, if you can just get rid of the camera and your glasses, because that's science as well.
No.
You can use it.
You don't want me to appeal to my authority, but you're going to continue to appeal to yours.
No, your authority is saying to me that you know me better than I do, and that I do believe in a God based on a Bronze Age book. Okay, now I'm saying to you that you couldn't possibly know me better than I do.
You would have to have all knowledge to tell me that.
No, I have knowledge of myself.
Where does your knowledge come from?
Where does my knowledge come from?
Yes.
Well, where does your knowledge come from? Your knowledge comes from the history of indoctrination.
No, not at all. No, not at all.
Excuse me.
I didn't grow up as a Christian.
Mm-hmm.
My knowledge comes from the same place yours does.
Yes.
By the one who has given us knowledge.
Well, no, because that's a statement too far. You can't invoke magic.
Based on what? It's not magic.
You can't invoke based on a presupposition of a truth
by what
which
standard?
Doesn't exist. By the standard.
By what standard?
By the standard of a Bronze Age book that you hold true.
You keep using that ad hominem about the Bible.
I'm not.
A Bronze Age book.
That's when it was scripted. That's when it was written.
But
then we go into
but you use it as a pejorative, though. No. Have you believed anything you've read?
No, of course not.
You don't believe anything you read?
I believe anything I read with
what?
With the evidence to back it up.
The evidence you accept.
No, not evidence I accept. Evidence I can hold in my hands.
Because we have.
You can't.
Okay, Gideon, you're going to find this ridiculous, but have you ever held your brain in your hands?
What? I've seen a CAT scan of it though.
No, you've seen a picture of your brain.
I've seen other people's brains as well when I do medical stuff.
But you haven't seen your brain.
I've seen it in the CAT scan.
How do you know it's there?
I've seen it in the CAT scan.
No, you saw a picture of it.
But I can see it in the CAT scan.
So you're believing. You're believing what you're reading and seeing.
No, because I can see it in a CAT scan. I know the old story that the student tells the teacher, why is there no God? Because you can't see God. Or do you have a brain? Well, you can't see it. That's obviously nonsense. Because when it comes to it, well, when you pass away, hopefully you have a long, happy life. And when you pass away, someone can cut open your skull and there will be a brain inside. We can see it via a CAT scan. I can put a hole in anyone's head, my own head.
Gideon, what is the basis for your morality? Whatever that is, what is the basis for your determination of right and wrong?
Well, that's very, very easily described by current day, based on the evolution of society, the evolution of moral values, also how people can get on with a group as well. Okay. And that's obviously why things have been pretty much disgusting throughout human history, because we evolved to the stage.
Because man is fallen.
Man is, well, no, we're primates.
No, we're not.
We are primates.
No, we're not. We're nowhere close to being primates.
We're very close to
the
DNA is extraordinary.
Yeah, we're only 2 billion characters off.
Yes, 2 billion characters, but out of how many characters?
2 billion characters off. We're not right. We're not. Yes. It's a camera. It's called a GoPro.
GoPro?
Yeah.
You guys like music? Do you want to support me?
No,
okay,
actually
mate.
not right now.
We're okay,
but thank you though. Thank you.
Cheers, buddy. Take care.
Okay, then with your naturalistic worldview, a worldview without the supernatural.
Yes.
How do you account for that which is not natural? How do you account for that which cannot be
such
as logic?
Such as logic. Logic. How do you mean that can't be accounted?
Well,
how is logic supernatural?
Gideon, you can't go to the fridge and get me a pound of logic.
Right.
Right. So in a naturalist
is now magic.
No. You keep using the word magic. We're not talking about magic. We're not talking magic.
Well, if you look at the textbook definition of the word magic, that would incorporate supernatural.
It may incorporate it, but that's not what we're talking about.
Okay, so
you use those terms as a pejorative.
I don't at all.
You do.
I don't. Well, no.
Gideon, account for logic. Account for that. Account for that which is immaterial, universal, unchanging.
What's universal? Sorry.
Logic.
But logic differs based on who you're talking to.
No, not at all. No, not at all.
Yes,
not at all. The law of non-contradiction applies here as it applies to America as it applies in France.
Especially when we attach it to morality, that is extremely diverse based on culture.
So I'm talking about logic now.
We're talking about logic.
Logic.
Yeah. Okay. So something.
How in your worldview?
Yes.
How in your worldview can you account for that which is not seen, which is immaterial? How can you account for that in your materialistic worldview?
Wait a minute. You're completely. How can I account for something that logic? Yeah, something
which is immaterial.
It's
immaterial, universal, unchanging. How can you account for that in a naturalistic worldview.
Okay, to define logic further in your worldview, what you mean by logic to be something something so that
knowledge
has to be
and
placed
reason.
in. Knowledge and reason.
Yeah.
Knowledge
How
and
can you
reason
account for logic?
How can I account for logic?
You keep repeating myself because you don't have an answer according to your worldview.
It's not about the worldview. It's not
It
about that.
is.
It's what you're asking. It's
It is.
completely baffling.
No,
You're
it
telling me
is. Right,
that-
because you have to come into my worldview to account for logic.
not
You
at all.
cannot account.
Logic is different, basically. Look at
No, it's not.
Yes, it is.
Logic, show me where logic has changed.
Logic was
Show me where the law of non-contradiction is different anywhere than what it
the
is
law of
right here, right now.
non-contradiction. Can you just define that furthermore, just so I'm on the same page as you?
Yes, the law of non-contradiction, that the $20 pound note in your wallet cannot be in your wallet and my wallet at the same time in the same sense.
Okay, well now we're talking physics. That's not. That's,
No. A law of logic. Something cannot be true and false at the same time. It's a law of non-contradiction.
No, not contradiction.
And that applies everywhere all the time. Account for that.
You see, what I'm struggling to understand with you is the way that you define logic, and the way you put it in your worldview as something which has been placed there, and therefore it has to be
Is
supernatural.
logic material?
Is logic material? Is the way that people understand things
No.
material?
Well, understanding is not material.
Understanding is material.
Knowledge is not
That
material.
doesn't placed here by a supernatural.
Reasoning is not material. But you can't account for it in a naturalistic worldview.
Of course you can.
Do it.
It exists based on the fact that society and people.
No.
Once you've got a higher understanding of
Go get me some logic. You have to show it to me.
I'm using logic.
No.
Right now.
No, we're not.
No, but
You may be
absolutely-
using logic.
What you're doing here is proving nothing. You're saying logic exists, therefore you can't hand me something which has been created by human civilization, human lectures over the years.
You can't
of
hand me
evolution.
logic.
But you can't hand me magic. You can't hand me
I'm not
God.
handing you
hand
magic.
Me God.
I'm not handing you. God is immaterial.
Well, hand me
God
that.
is consistent.
No, but hand me that though.
I don't have to hand you what is
you have
immaterial.
to.
No, I don't.
Yes, you do.
No, I don't.
'Cause I can't hand you logic. You can't hand me God. So where does that
God
leave
is
us?
immaterial.
In a
I
quadrant.
can't hand you God because he's immaterial.
But I can
It's
hand
not a
you
quandary.
books showing logic, how it was discussed.
You can
how it
show
was
me
formed,
you can show
and
me the
where it
discussion
came
of
from.
logic.
Yes.
You can show me the effects of logic. You can't show me logic in your worldview. You can't.
I just have.
And
Based
you
on
can't
people
account. No,
discussing it.
you
I'm
can
showing
show me
history.
the effects of it.
I can show
You
people.
can't show me logic.
But you're saying that based on the fact that you think it's something that's presentable, but I don't believe it is.
It doesn't matter what you believe. What matters is whether or not what you believe is true,
But it doesn't matter what you believe because you're asking me to do something based on.
which you can't do according to your worldview.
No, I can.
You can't
logic
account for it.
exists because it's been discussed based on.
No.
intellectual
Wait, if we never
all the time.
discuss logic, it would never exist.
Then we wouldn't be aware of it.
Does that mean it doesn't exist?
Well, no, but also.
Darwin wasn't aware of the intricacies of the cell.
Yes.
Did the intricacies not exist in 1850 because he wasn't aware of them?
Wait a minute. Hold on. Wait. For example,
We're running around in circles.
We're not running around in circles.
I'm going to let you go in a minute.
Yeah, okay.
But here's the bottom line. You and I both know that God exists. You are going to stand before him.
Who's the most famous Christian
You are going
scientist
to-
that you know?
you are going
the
to-
most famous
it's
Christian
irrelevant.
scientist. It's not. He
You and I-
gave the heavens. He gave unto the heavens. He gave God for the movement
No.
of the planetary bodies.
No.
This guy, who is he? You know who it is. You know who it is.
No one invented God.
Oh no, but who came up with the orbits? The orbits of the Earth and the Moon, who came up with those, and then gave unto the heavens the other planetary movements because they were inexplicable, and they weren't the mathematics for it weren't being
The
created.
Bible talked about the movement of heavens thousands of years before man decided they moved in a certain way.
No, they didn't.
Oh yes, go read Isaiah.
It's interpretation.
Go read no.
It's not very specific. Very specific.
When the Word of God says that the world is round and floating in the heavens, while mankind 500 years ago was saying that it's flat.
Verbatim.
When the
round.
Word of God says that God has unfolded heaven like a carpet,
Verbatim not round. Verbatim it's not round. We both know that.
you're going to stand before the Creator you deny,
Okay.
Gideon. You're going to give an account.
Okay, that's
And
your.
he's going to find you guilty of breaking his law. And he's going to send you to hell for all eternity. And I don't want that for you.
That's very kind.
Because only the fool has said in his heart there is no God.
Okay.
You know that God exists, you simply hate him.
Okay, well.
You simply hate him.
That's what you want to do, and you're doing that for my benefit.
All right.
Can I just say one thing to you?
Sure.
To leave you alone. I hope you live a long and happy life. As
I
to your
hope you
family.
do too.
Now, I'm going to tell you that by the time you reach your deathbed, which is hopefully many centuries
And I hope
from
the
now,
same for you.
you will not be raptured. You will not see the second coming. It
You
will
don't
not
know
happen.
that. You don't know any of that.
I'm just saying.
Because you don't have all
that's
knowledge.
fine, but look, I'll let
Could you be wrong about
I
everything you
could,
think
I
you know?
could be wrong, but let me just say, I'll let you say your piece on that.
Are you sure you could be wrong?
You've said your piece, I want to say my piece. When that day happens, or if it happens, just think, maybe I was wrong. Maybe.
No.
Maybe.
I won't.
But look, you look after yourself. You're a very nice chap.
It's
Fascinating.
been a pleasure talking
Look,
to you.
enjoy the sunshine.
All right, you too, Gideon.
Take care.
Take care.